Hi, welcome to another appliance repair video by All Pro Appliance. Today we're going to be working on an LG front load washer that has an IE code. IE code means that there's not enough water coming in. It's usually the water valve or the pressure switch or the pressure hose. Most likely the water valves. You have a hot and a cold on the washer, which I'll show you throughout the video. And stay for the end of the video, so I'll give you a bonus about how to diagnose it. I'm working on an LG front load washer, and the model number is right in the door. And it is Whiskey Mike 2016 Charlie Whiskey. That's how you get your parts. And the part number that we're putting on there is we're going to replace the hot and cold water valve. It is 5220 Frank Romeo 2075 Lima. That's the cold water valve. And the hot water valve will be 5220 Frank Romeo 2006 Hotel. So before working on any appliance, we want to unplug it. We want to turn off the water valves because we're going to be replacing the water valves, and we're going to be disconnecting it, the hot and cold water valves. We're going to be removing the top of the washer, and it has two screws, one here and one here, which I already removed. How we remove the top is we just push it back. If it doesn't push back easily, just stick a screwdriver in here and pry it so that it'll give you, once it gets loose, it's ready to come out, as you can see. Ready to come up and out. And so how I begin my repair is I'm going to be putting a towel down to catch any water, and that's the way I know I don't have any leaks, because I don't have any water anywhere. And I'm going to use my magic marker, and I'm going to list this from left to right on the hoses, which is helpful to me. You could say 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they are color coded, with red going there, blue going there, and white in the middle. I need to differentiate these two plugs, 2 and 4. Because in my mind I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if you want to know what the water valves actually are, they're indicated on the dispenser over here. We got bleach, hot, pre-wash, main wash, and that's it. We have 4 water valves. And so how we're going to remove, get yourself a pan, because you might have a little water. You're going to turn off your water valves, but you don't know how much water is going to come out of there. So you can also see in the back, it's going to tell you hot and cold. So this is cold, so I put a C, and this is hot. So that I put them back in the proper place. But putting a Sharpie, using a Sharpie, keeps you, you know that everything's going to go back the same way. You don't have to guess at it. You could also take pictures if you want before you take anything apart. It's very helpful to know that everything was put back together where it's supposed to go. So first off, we're going to be removing these hoses. As you see, I got a little pan down there. You can use a bucket to catch any water. You never know if your water valves are completely closing, and so I use this channel lock pliers to take them off, and then you should be able to do it by hand. If not, you can continue using the channel locks. I'm going to be removing those holes now. So the tools I'm going to be using to remove the water valves, we have to remove the hoses and the clamps and the electrical connectors. We could just pull those. We know how red goes with, you got a little red dot on there. And hopefully it's on the new one too. And so how we got the electrical connector, try to move that out the way. I try to do this with one hand so you can see how I do it. And then the clamps, you're just gonna grab it. Kind of move it away. Put your needle nose pliers. Slide it down a little bit. Slide it down. Slide it down. So we have to disconnect the hoses, and then sometimes you could just twist them right off. If not, you could take a screwdriver to just help a little bit. Just pry it off a little bit. You see how it just came off? So now it makes it easier to just pull them off. And you get some water. So I got my towel down. I'll do that to all of them before pulling on them. I think if some air gets in there, it just makes it easy to pull them off. Okay, so they're ready to come off. We're going to be using Phillips screws to take these two for the hot and for the cold, and they'll come right out, and then you could replace it. So I'll do that now. So I'm going to be putting the water valves, new water valves in now. This is the hot water valve. And you know the two screws that are in the back? Here's the cold water valve. You do remember, just move this out the way so we'll get our hoses on. And I did label them. You got to be careful because it could erase. But we know this is the hot water valve. And that's number 2. Hard to see black on black, but. And we got a number 3 and number 4 on here. We put in our electrical connectors. we're done. It's all connected, except we have to put the clamps on. When you put the clamps on, make sure they're all the way on. And we'll turn the water on to make sure that there's no leaks. So we got our water valves on, hot and cold. The connectors are hooked up. We got the hoses in the right water valve, and we got the clamps secured and in place at the very end here. Now we're gonna hook up our hot water line to the hot water valve, and the cold is the cold. I think I'm gonna need 2 hands to start this. How you put these on is that it has to go on easy. Do not put it on rough, and if it's too hard to begin, you should be able to start it and spin them pretty easy, and a lot should go on. If not, I would back off and do it again, because you could actually strip these plastic threads. I've never done that before, but it has to go on easy to begin with, and then you could tighten it up with the channel locks. I'll do that now. So after putting them on pretty easy, you don't have to crank them down too much with the channel locks. Just a couple of turns, and that's good enough. So they're on there tight, they're on there good. Everything's ready. So I'm ready to plug her in and turn on my water valves. A good way to check for leaks is to take a small rag and wipe the bottom. That's where it'll be likely to drip out. You can have a tiny leak. So in order to do this, this is a good method that I've been using. You want to wipe down underneath the bottom of the hoses, and I already got the water turned on. I'm going to plug it in and show you how to put it in diagnostic mode. So how we're going to put this in diagnostic mode so that we can let the water come in and check for any leaks is we're going to press the power button. At the same time, we're going to press the spin and soil level button. So it's really not at the same time, it's power, and sometimes it's the opposite. These two first, spin speed and soil level, and then the power button. There it goes. It's all lit up, you know, it's in diagnostic, and it's that's the display telling you what size is the control board or display board. So then you're just going to move on, and how you go through the cycles is you're going to press the start button. So right now it's just regular wash, or I think the first press is a regular wash, and the next press will be a slow spin. It's just tumbling right now. Number 2. I think this would be a slow spin. These are the RPMs. And then we're going to go, I think this is the 3rd time, we're going to go for a fast spin. could also do this just to put in a spin cycle to see if it's making noise on spin. If this sounds like a freight train or a jetliner, which this one doesn't, that's a major job. You just might as well get a new washer because you have to replace the bearings and the drum support. So that's your fast spin cycle. You can see the RPMs increase. Now it's shutting down the spin, and the first water valve shall turn on to see if we got any leaks. You can go through all the valves. One thing's very important. You see how this number 261, well, that means that it's empty. It doesn't have any water. That's the numbers come down. It'll turn off when it's full at 229 or 230. That's how you know that the pressure switch, which is right here, is working properly and sending the right signal to the main control board. Also, this hose, this is a pressure switch hose, can have a hole in it, causing the same issue. So that's another issue that you could have with the IE code or the FE code. The IE code will be not enough water on this particular model, and the FE code will be too much water, where it just don't stop. It just fills up. You can see the numbers was at 261, now it's at 240, so we know the pressure switch, as the water's coming in, the numbers go down. You know it's working properly when it turns off at about 230, 229, when it's full. The reason why I'm doing this, I think this is the main water valve right now. And the next one will be the pre-wash water valve, which is the one in the middle. And that's actually this one right here, pre-wash is on. And then it'll be the bleach and hot. It's going to turn off, or should turn off. It's working properly at 230, 229. So that's what we're waiting for. We can go check for any leaks after we turn on all the water valves. Still filling up. 230 turned off. So we know that at this moment, you can have intermittent issues as well, but that the pressure switch is working because it sends the right signal to the control board. It's full when it's about to the bottom of the drum, or this one pours a little bit more than the others. It's usually just to the bottom of the drum where you don't even see that water. But that's about as high as it should go, okay? Okay, so we're continuing with we're still in diagnostic mode, and all the water valves have been actuated, except the last valve, which is bleach. You don't hear it because the control board knows that the washer is full. The next one should be wash mode, tumble. The next one should be the temperature of the thermistor, which is 29 degrees Celsius. This next step is drain pump. Anyway, when you hear that noise, you know it's draining properly. And that's one thing you can do to check your drain pump as well. And then when we press the start button one more time, it'll turn off. But you can see the water going down and the numbers are going up. to check your pressure switch again and your pressure switch holes. That usually doesn't fail with the IE code. It's usually the water valve. You can hear that the drain pump, when it changes sound, is empty, and you can see it's almost on. It's on 261 where it started. So we're close enough, 260. So we know that it's working properly. When I press this, the diagnostic will be over. It went through all the loads properly, and it's working. I'm replacing these 2 screws. And you could also check for leaks. Make sure we already put it through diagnostic mode. All the water went in, all the water went out. The leaks are leaks. So if you don't see any water, you're most likely good to go. So another successful job from All Pro Appliance. I appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below and I will address them. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.